Well, hello, I'm Richard, and welcome back to Stuff We Can Do in Excel, Tableau, and Power BI. What I want to do today is take a look at some general formatting tips for Excel spreadsheets. Hopefully there'll be something in here that'll help you that maybe you haven't seen before. So let's go look at our spreadsheet. So we've got some information here, and let's look at column E. I'm going to highlight this in a color just so we can see it really well. So let's say that we've got this column E, and we notice there's extra spaces in it, extra spaces before canoe. There may be some other extra spaces in there we're just not aware of. How do we fix those? Well, remember the trim function. We're going to go and we're going to insert a column, and then what we're going to do is we're simply going to say equals trim, and we're going to, I got to hit our parenthesis first. We'll identify the cell we want to trim. We'll hit, it's not doing, hold on a second. So equals trim, close parenthesis, but we want to close the parenthesis and hit enter. And you notice it didn't do anything, right? Why didn't the formula work? The formula is perfectly fine. The syntax is correct. Why didn't it work? Well, it's a little quirky thing about Excel. I want you to notice something. This cell E, if we go up to the top, we can see this in our formatting box, and I've shown you this before. This formatting box says column E is formatted as text. And in fact, if I go down here and click on column F, we find that column F is also formatted as text. That's because when you insert a column into Excel, the new column will have the same formatting as the column that came before it. So how do we fix this? So what we're going to do is we are going to simply, again, click on this cell, and what we're going to do is go up above here and change this to general. It's important to recognize that in Excel, putting a formula into a cell that is formatted as text means the formula will not work. It'll read that as text and not as a formula that should be active. So to fix that, you simply change the format of that cell to general, and now when we type in our trim function equals trim, it's going to work, and I can copy that all the way down the page. Okay, so that's a way to enter that. And another thing to remember is that just because a column, let's look at column G, just because column G is formatted up here as general doesn't mean all the cells in column G are formatted as general. In fact, cell G2 is formatted as text. If I go down a little further, let's see, are there any more formatted as text? Oh, there's one right there. Looks like I've got cell, what's that, G19, G20, G21, G22, G23 are all formatted as text also. So how do I fix that? Well, it's really simple. We simply highlight the column, go back up and reformat the column as general, and now all of those cells that previously were highlighted, look up here at the top, were highlighted as text, are now highlighted or formatted as general cells. So now I can work with those cells. Now the next thing is, how do we add extra rows and columns to our Excel spreadsheet? That's something we may wish to do, because sometimes we don't like it crammed up here in the upper left like this. Let's say we wanted to add a row. Well, one way some of us have always done that is to right click, highlight the row, right click on it, go down to the drop down window, type in and click on insert, and then we do it again and we do it again. But that's kind of tedious. You got to use the mouse a lot. We know today's day and age a lot of people don't like using the mouse. So how do we do this a different way? Well, if we just click on that cell and in the row for run, use control and the plus symbol, it will add columns for us every time we hit the enter button or the plus button. Control plus, it just keeps adding rows for us. We can do the same thing for columns. If I click on column A, control plus, and it will add columns for us. So that's a real nice helpful tool if we want to create a little bit of white space between the edges of our worksheet and the row and column identifiers in Excel. So that's a nice little tool you can use there. So how do we fix the column width? If we look down here at the bottom of item, we'll see that we've got an item down here in cell E31, Mount Everest thermal sleeping something. I'm not even sure what it is. The cell that can't hold the data. It's not wide enough. Now I could widen the cell. A couple of ways you could do that. You could just click on the barrier between column E and F and just drag it. That would do it, but maybe that's not what you want to do. Another way to do it is double click on that and it'll automatically size it for you. But if you'll notice within our spreadsheet, we've got several. We've got a column F is not wide enough. Column I has a bunch of hashtags in it. That means it's not wide enough for the number it's in there. Same thing for column L. So how could we fix that all at once? Well, it's pretty easy. We go over here to the far left side of your spreadsheet where you've got the column identifiers at the top and the number identifier, row identifiers down the left side. That intersection box right there, click on that gray triangle. It's going to highlight everything in your spreadsheet. Now all you have to do is double click on any divider between any column, and it's going to automatically resize every column in your spreadsheet to the proper size. We can do this, a similar thing with rows. Rows isn't as easy. Again, we can add rows just by simply hitting Control and plus, right? What if we have a cell, for instance, let's say this cell isn't deep enough. We want it deeper. We can drag it. We can resize it by simply double clicking and it'll resize it to the proper size. We could click on that row, right click it, and hit row height, and we can actually choose a new height. Maybe we could choose, let's choose a big one, 40 for that cell. That's kind of thick. We don't need that. Again, if we double click on the divider between 6 and 7, it will automatically resize that for us. So those are just a few helpful hints in formatting your spreadsheet to make it look a little better and to accommodate all the different items that are in there. I'll do a separate video on how to format the text that's in these cells, which will also include formatting individual cells for things like width and wrapping. If you like this video, click on the like button and consider subscribing to the channel. Talk to you later.